Hello and welcome to the SMRC Scottish BMW Championship. Now, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that we're not in Knock Hill. It's actually the away round for the championship at Rockingham Motor Speedway in Corby. And this man right here, Alistair Smith, is on pole position. Let's have a quick chat with him and see what he thought of his pole lap very quickly. Alistair, very quick word. Pole position, had some really good form last time out. How's it looking today?
Looking good so far. Just see how it goes in the first race. I think it's going to be pretty close.
Good stuff. Best of luck.
Cheers.
Right, it's time to head out for the first grid. Here's Richard to give you the rundown.
Thank you, Scott. Ali Smith then on pole position. Cliff Harper lines up in second. Gary Clark, the defending champion, third from Stephen Goldie, then David McNaughton and Rory Clark. Fraser Huntley and Doug Simpson on row 4. Jake Hutchison and Lee Elric completing the fifth row of the grid. Ashley Morris and Andrew Prince on row 6. And row 7, John Robertson, a welcome return to Michael Connon in car number 7. Now Fraser Huntley, you can see, starting at the back, he's in the custard coloured car. It sprouted some more colours this weekend as well. But his time from qualifying disallowed, so he finds himself at the back of the field with work to do. It's the great run down into turn 1 that awaits these drivers. Lights go out and it looks like Alistair Smith makes a good start from pole. On the outside sometimes can give you a little bit more grip here at Rockingham. Nevertheless, grip or not, great start from Cliff Harper, who looks around the outside line. There's a bit of a squeeze going on there, so we've got a BMW Sani going into turn 1. Thankfully they all sort themselves out. Rory Clark was the white car, Doug Simpson and the 23 car of David McNaughton in the mix as well. Cliff Harper was having a look around the outside line of the hairpin, didn't work for him. Alistair Smith leading, Gary Clark in yellow, or in red and yellow, the Cytec car going through and into third place, but Cliff Harper maintaining second at the moment. A little bit of a wobbly moment there for Lee Elric up ahead of Ashley Morris. Lady Racer looking to improve on a disappointing weekend for her at Knock Hill on the 3rd and 4th of June. Had a exclusion and a 14th place. Championship leader is Steve Goldie in the black and gold car, running in 4th place at the moment, ahead of David McNaughton. Then it's Dougie Simpson, blue car with the white roof, but at the moment Ali Smith is away and clear. Smith from Harper and Gary Clark. Clark, another driver looking to get back to form, had a retirement in round 5 and a 10th place in round 6 of the championship. Goldie round the outside line. Doug Simpson up ahead now of David McNaughton, but McNaughton's looking on the inside here. This converts to the outside for the next corner, and they're coming very slightly downhill. Are they going to trade paint? They're getting very close indeed. There's a lock up from Simpson, and he does have a clatter with McNaughton, who's on the grass, and I think he's going, a little tap back into him on the second part of the S's here. This is all getting very physical between those two, but it's Dougie Simpson out front at the moment. Stephen Goldie trying to get in the mix as well. The championship leader, who's a little way back at the moment. Goldie, I'm sure, won't mind me saying that he's there by sheer consistency. He's had a good turn of speed this year. 2 podia, which was rounds 3 and 4. And it could be the year that consistency, rather than outright race wins, determines the title. Simpson going very wide indeed there, off on the grass, loses places to Rory Clark in white. David McNaughton, Steve Goldie, the red car of Jake Hutchison coming through as well. So Simpson with some serious work to do. Clark on the inside line of McNaughton. Simpson trying to get back into it with Fraser Huntley immediate behind. Fraser's made good progress through from the back of the field, where he started alongside Michael Connon. Really good to see Michael back in the mix. I think we seem to remember racing in the BMW Championship a couple of years ago, so good to see him back in it as the leaders come out of Kirby and go down Steel Straight. Longer version of Steel Straight for the runners here than they get on the normal International Supersport circuit. It's only slightly longer, the ISS long circuit, but they run down Steel Straight, then into Gracelands. This is Steel Straight that we're looking at. Goldie from McNaughton, then Clark, Doug Simpson coming through from Jake Hutchison, Fraser Huntley, then Lee Elric, who is second in the championship. Lee 6 points adrift of Stephen Goldie in the standings. Gary Clark is third, a further point back on Lee Elric. Cliff Harper is fourth. Cliff Harper another driver who's consistent and I think getting back to some very good form, Cliff Harper, with a great qualifying, second position to Ali Smith. Smith was a second clear though in qualifying, 1.084 seconds clear of Cliff Harper, who in turn was another 600ths clear of Gary Clark, who started third. His super view on turn one, banked turn one. Of course, the difference here to any other circuits, two main differences. One is that you're running anti-clockwise, which is possible, of course, at Knock Hill if the SMRC decide to run that way round. But the other difference here is that turn one, there's no runoff. It's a very, very fast first turn, probably one of the fastest in the country. And if you get it wrong, you're in the concrete wall, which is very unforgiving. So you can understand the drivers may be a little bit nervous of racing here for the first time. Thankfully not seen any big problems at all thus far. Lee Elric trying to close the gap on Fraser Huntley once again. Huntley double podium finisher at the first event of the year. Fraser in 5th position in the championship standings at the moment, and just trying to close down on Jake Hutchison at the minute. Great view along Steel Straight, which takes them back towards the main complex. The other thing, great thing about Rockingham is that the fact that if you watch from the Rockingham building, or indeed the pit lane garages, top of the pit lane garages, you can see pretty much the whole circuit. There aren't too many places like that in the UK. The disappointing side is that it was built for thousands and thousands of spectators, but of course very rarely you get IndyCar sized crowds here. So the grandstands are closed most of the time, so it does tend to look as if nobody's here, but most of the people in the Rockingham building, loads of people standing in there and on the garages enjoying the racing, and you'll see lots of vehicles in the paddock. So it is a crowded venue, but it was built to hold so many more people than you'll actually see on screen. Across the line go our top three, with Stephen Goldie next from David McNaughton. Rory Clark making very good progress here is Doug Simpson, who's recovering after that wide moment coming out of the hairpin. Cliff Harper in 72, coming under pressure now from Doug Simpson, so the race order has changed somewhat from what we saw earlier on. The race leader is Ali Smith, he's out front. Cliff Harper is in second, which is where he started on the grid, but coming under pressure from Doug Simpson, who's done a good recovery. So Ali Smith through. Look, he's got the length of Steel Straight ahead of this battle for second, and Simpson here is gunning for, well, he's on for a first podium, but is he going to be able to make it a second place instead of a third? Certainly putting on the pressure. This is the Tarzan hairpin, named after the similar corner at Zandvoort, the former Grand Prix venue in the Netherlands. They go very slightly uphill, then a slight downhill gradient in towards the Brook S's, which is where they are now. They turn left, right now, then left back onto turn 4. This is the second left-hander, bringing them on to turn 4, and you can sometimes set up a run on the inside. The race leader's on the last lap, and Doug Simpson is putting the pressure on Cliff Harper. It's great to see Cliff back on the podium pace, and I think for the first time so far this year, he's probably going to welcome more away rounds, but his Knock Hill form has been a little bit away from what we've been used to for him. Here's the race leader though, Ali Smith, looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce. Didn't contest the first 2 meetings of the year, but when he has been here, he's been very, very quick, and nobody else has had a look in so far. Down to the right-hander at Yentwood. Smith leads. Good lead it is too. It's got 8 or 9 seconds over Cliff Harper at the moment. He will head through Chapman Curve, then the flick of Piff Paff out to where our camera is at Kirby, the furthest reaches of the racetrack, and then once they've got around Kirby, it'll be down the Steel Straight. So remember, he's got the length of Steel Straight, and again you can see a little bit of gradient here. People talk about this being a flat circuit, but there are gradient changes. It is a very, very demanding circuit indeed. Seems to be a bit Marmite for some drivers. Personally, I love the place. I think it's a great racetrack, and so many different combinations of circuits that you can employ here. And Alistair Smith clearly relishing it. Goes through Tarzan for the last time. Big lead intact. Ali Smith fastest lap as well. That was set back on lap 5 of this 8-lap race. And he's not lighting up the timing screen at the moment. He's backing off, so he's going to, I think, retain that. Nobody else going quicker at the moment on the timing screen. But Alistair Smith is going to come through. Championship-wise, Ali down in 14th. This is going to move him up to 120 points in the championship. The checkered flag is ready. Ali Smith wins a 3rd race of the year, and it's a good advantage over. In 2nd place, Doug Simpson comes through in 2nd. So Simpson in 2nd, Cliff Harper, first podium of the year for Harper, maiden podium for Simpson. Then it's David McNaughton from Stephen Goldie, who will retain his lead in the championship. Rory Clark next, then Jake Hutchison. Lee Elric follows him through. He will retain 2nd in the championship, Lee Elric. But it was a win for Alistair Smith. Smith winning and getting fastest lap. Simpson 2nd from Harper, McNaughton, Goldie, Clark, Hutchison, Elric, Andrew Prince 9th from John Robertson in 10th. Gary Clark down in 11th place ahead of Ashley Morris and Michael Connon.
What a brilliant first race here at Rockingham for the Scottish BMWs, and winner from pole, Alistair Smith. Alistair, what a race that was. Looked fairly straightforward, but I'm guessing it was anything but.
Yeah, it was pretty tight at the first corner. Just managed to get a gap as Gary and Cliffy was fighting. But a wee spillage in the track made Cliffy spin, so a bit exciting. But let me maintain a lead, so it's alright.
Well, Dougie, a brilliant 2nd place for you here at Rockingham. Talk us through how your race went.
Really, it was just a hit and miss, really. It was just got a couple of contact through first corner into 2nd corner, and just after that it was really picking off, just gaining and gaining and gaining all the time. So yeah, pretty happy with that, to be honest.
Right, time for race 2 as the cars head out behind me from the assembly area. So Richard, over to you for the grid.
Thanks very much, Scott. It is Alistair Smith on pole from Dougie Simpson, Cliff Harper and David McNaughton on row 2. Stephen Goldie next, Rory Clark and Jake Hutchison. Lee Elric in 8th from Andrew Prince and John Robertson. Then Gary Clark and Ashley Morris, row 6. Row 7, Michael Connon and Fraser Huntley. So Fraser with a DNF from race number 1. Starts at the back again after having a lap time disallowed in qualifying. Let's hope that he gets some luck. He's just coming into position alongside Michael Connon. In the front though, Douglas Simpson is going to be taking I think some confidence here. I mentioned it in race number 1, sometimes the outside line can be a tad quicker here at Rockingham. I don't know if anyone's told Dougie Simpson that's the case. We'll see. Great start by Cliff Harper from 3rd on the grid, trying to slot through on the inside. David McNaughton goes on the outside line. Ali Smith is beaten off the line though by Cliff Harper and into turn 1. And the race 1 winner is down in 4th place going into turn 1. I did say the outside can sometimes be quicker here. There might be a little bit more rubber, which gives more grip. It's very tight going up into the hairpin for the first time, but Cliff Harper leads. BMW Sani again going into the hairpin. I was just about to say they've all kept it going the right way, but that's the championship leader with a half gyration. Steve Goldie finds himself at the back of the field. The championship leader has work to do. I think he extended the championship lead. He picked up 30 points, picked up 3 more points than Lee Elric in race number 1. I don't think that's going to be the case here. We've got a long way to go, of course. Gary Clark finds himself with work to do. Clark in the red and yellow car, already climbing through the order. Lee Elric, the next target for him. Lee running 2nd in the championship, could well sneak the championship lead here. But as I said, we've got a long way to go. Going down Steel Straight and heading into Gracelands. When they come out of Gracelands, very slightly off camber there. You can't really see it with these cars. Cliff Harper coming under pressure now from Ali Smith, who's looking for the lead on the inside here at Tarzan. He's going to grab the lead too, unless Harper can hang on to that outside line and grab the inside for the next corner. He can't do that, so Harper, well, with a really good start, maintains the lead for 2/3 of the lap. But Ali Smith has resumed at the front of the field. David McNaughton running in 3rd. Into the Brook S's they go, and Ali Smith is going to get the lap lead on the lap counter. So through turn 4 and heading down into the main straight. I mentioned in race 1 lots of different configurations that could be used at Rockingham. You can use turn 4 flat out, but you have to use a little chicane you can see there going into turn 1. And I think the reason we don't use the chicane in turn, you're only allowed to use one of the corners, by the way, from MSA licensing. You're only allowed to use one of the oval corners here. And there was an F3 car, I seem to remember, that flipped a good few years ago going into the turn 1 chicane when they used to use turn 4 flat. And turn 4 flat was a great spectacle, because you used to get a lot of drafting coming through turn 4 and a lot of photo finishes going on. But for safety's sake, until we can get something a little bit more robust and safer in terms of a turn 1 chicane, I don't think it's going to be possible to sort that out. The other issue with having the turn 1 chicane is that you're going from a relatively fast and bunched start into a big sort out at the chicane at turn 1. If you use that configuration, it's better to have the sort out probably going into the Dean hairpin, which is effectively turn 2 of this configuration, which is 13 turns. Dougie Simpson down in 4th place, challenging David McNaughton. I spent ages talking about the tracks here, and you could probably write a thesis on the number of different circuits that can be run here at Rockingham. It was very well thought out as a venue. Great placing, super oval. Shame we don't see the oval used a lot more, but the infield circuits absolutely superb. This is the run downhill, School straight into the Brook S's. Rory Clark up ahead of Lee Elric. Then going through the black and white car of John Robertson in 46, and Fraser Huntley is significantly still ahead of Gary Clark here, and Huntley having a little nibble at the 46 goes through on the inside line, but at contact, and that contact is followed through. Surely the 46 car needs to come off the gas, but doesn't, and really that is, well, what can you say? John Robertson there kept his foot in. Now whether there was contact, whether he felt there was contact with Fraser Huntley beforehand, and that was maybe a little bit of tit for tat, you don't really want to be keeping your foot in at Rockingham because of the concrete wall on the outside. If something, and there's a concrete wall on the inside as well on that part of the track as well. So not a satisfactory way. We got a spinner there at the hairpin as well. Well, let's hope that things start to calm down. Jake Hutchison chasing after Ashley Morris. Championship leader Stephen Goldie is there as well, trying to make up places from that problem that he had on lap number 1. So Goldie has actually made good progress here and has made up a couple of positions. Morris up ahead of Hutchison at the moment. So we have seen some physical racing going on here at Rockingham. And if you look across there at the back, you can see the banking on the oval here, really prevalent from that shot that we've got. The maximum 7 degrees, which they are using at turn 1. So modest banking. Some of the NASCAR people would probably scoff at that, but it was more than adequate when we had the Champ Cars visit here for the opening meeting going back all those years ago. Ashley Morris still holding sway, and you can see Fraser Huntley behind them. Doug Simpson putting big pressure though at the moment on David McNaughton. These two that were two of the drivers that clashed in race number 1. You can see Simpson taking a very tight line out of the Brook S's, and he's keeping the momentum going on the inside. Sometimes you need to take more of a sweeper, but Simpson doesn't. He just didn't quite have the momentum there to close down and take the position away from David McNaughton, who still holds sway there, but going around turn 1, he'll start to pick up a little bit of the draft, moves out of the draft, out towards the wall. McNaughton getting a little bit more defensive maybe, coming down, lock up on the brakes, runs wide. Simpson will try and pop the car up the inside line, which he may well do here, but watch McNaughton will try and hold line going down into the right-hander. Can he do that? A little bit of a tap between the two. McNaughton does hold on to it. I think probably clean and fair between the two now, but again a little bit of nudging back from Doug Simpson. These two really getting, I'll tell you what, I think the temperature today, it's one of the hottest days we've had of the year, and the temperature probably just affecting everybody a little bit, apart from Alistair Smith, who goes on to the last lap, so just over 2 miles to go from Ali Smith, with Cliff Harper again on for a podium here. Now this is going to, the way they are on track at the moment, this is going to bring Harper into 1 point behind Gary Clark. Harper will be, I reckon, still 4th in the championship, but closing up on Gary Clark, and he's done a good job this weekend. Ali Smith has done well too. He will get up to 160 points, but by missing the first 2 meetings of the year in terms of the outright championship, not in the frame at the moment. Stephen Goldie, I think, will leave with the championship lead intact. Lee Elric 7 points down, and then 1 point back from Elric, Gary Clark, and then Cliff Harper, if they stay the way they are at the moment. And Ali Smith heads around Graceland's, beg your pardon, Kirby corner, and now down the steel straight towards Graceland's, with Cliff Harper in second place. The winning gap in race 1 was 10 seconds, and you can see Cliff Harper is only a couple of seconds behind the race leader. So this has been a good race by Harper. Smith with the fastest lap back on lap 3, a 1 minute 50.024. And that's quicker than his race 1 time. So Smith has improved as he has learned the circuit, and of course therefore has improved the circuit lap record for the Scottish BMWs. Personally, I hope that the cars come back and race. It'll be interesting to see what the drivers thought of it. Rory Clark running in 3rd. Great drive by Rory Clark. First meeting of the season for him, and he's going to be delighted with a Rockingham podium. Gary Clark back in 4th place at the moment, but around turn 4 goes Alistair Smith. The checkered flag being readied. 2 out of 2 here at Rockingham for Smith. A double podium for Cliff Harper, who closes in. He's still 4th in the championship, but has closed in on defending champion Gary Clark. Next up is Rory Clark from Dougie Simpson, in actual fact, across the line. Then it is Gary Clark from Lee Elric. David McNaughton up ahead of Fraser Huntley, crossing the line now. Well, in the final result, it was an exclusion for Fraser Huntley and a time penalty for Doug Simpson. So it was Smith, Harper, Clark 2, then Dougie Simpson, Lee Elric, David McNaughton from Steve Goldie, Jake Hutchison and Ashley Morris in 10th, those completing the classified finishers.
Well, so that's the double. Perfect weekend for Rockingham, 2 from 2, but talk us how it was on that occasion from your point of view.
It was really good. Made a wee bit of hiccup at the start. Lost a few places, but managed to regain them. So what more could you ask for?
Well, Cliff, a brilliant second place for you here at Rockingham, but it looks like it was hard work out there.
It was hard work, yeah. It's pretty hot down here, so in the car temperatures are quite high.
How have you found your experience at Rockingham this weekend?
Lovely. It's a brilliant circuit. It's really good, yeah.
Rory, what way to start your Sunday morning? Your first ever podium. How's that?
Really good. I was really happy. I didn't get any testing on Friday, so it was straight into qualifying. Got P6, so that was quite happy. I was really happy with that actually, because I was only 2 tenths off of second place. And then going into the race, the first race wasn't as good. I made a bad start and I fell back a bit and managed to get back up to 6, which is where I started again today. But I managed this time rethought my race strategy, and I managed to fight my way back up to 3rd.
You also compete in the English Championship over here down in this country, well as the Scottish, so it seems that you're quite a fan of the compact.
Oh yeah, well this round was a practice round for Rockingham, because the British compact come down here as well, so hopefully this stands me in good stead for the British.
So that's what happens when you take the Scottish BMWs away from their home. 2 fantastic races here at Rockingham, and well done to Alistair Smith for winning both of them. The cars now head back up to Bonnie, Scotland and back to Knockhill for their next rounds, so tune in next time for more SMRC Scottish BMW action.